Recording. All right, we're good.
All right, awesome. All right, so we're going to start off with the fact that you guys are beginning in an area of the Forgotten Realms called Cormyr. Cormyr is on the map in front of you, and Cormyr is historically one of the richest areas or like most successful kingdoms in all of the Forgotten Realms. And it's largely because they fall right in the middle of a ton of riverways, and they have like seaports where you can see like the Dragonmere ocean at like the southern part of the map, and that connects to like larger ocean bodies as well. And they just are really sort of centrally located to be like a trade mecca. The problem is, and if you guys are familiar with like the history of the Forgotten Realms at all, shit always seems to go down, and if things are going well for you, that usually spells really bad things for you when shit goes down, right? Because you become a target, and so some of the problems that the kingdom of Cormyr has faced over the centuries is there was an event called the Goblin Wars, where it really sort of drew the fighting forces of the nation thin. There's this order of purple dragon knights that are constantly an issue, where they sort of worship evil dragons and are trying to like constantly subvert the powers that be to corrupt them for basically Tiamat, which is their like the evil dragon sort of god in the pantheon of Forgotten Realms. So one of the things that this kingdom has done is that it allows people to be adventurers in Cormyr, but you need to be licensed to do it. If you're not licensed and you're caught, you're either thrown out of the kingdom or you're thrown in jail, and then you're basically turned into slave labor. So it's the way that the current ruler, I forget what the queen's name is, but basically the queen rules from Arabelle, which is like that central big cross right in the middle of the map, and her way of making sure that the coffers stay full. She lets adventurers come in, and there's always a supply of bodies when like terrible things happen. Is this sort of like pay as you go system for adventurers, mercenaries, whatever. Um, Also, when you hold coin over someone's head, they typically do what you ask of them instead of not. So, but rather than starting in Arabelle and sort of in the midst of everything, you guys are beginning this adventure in Evening Star, which is off to the left of Arabelle. And Evening Star is a city, but it's not like a huge city. It's more of like a Portland, Maine, or I'm trying to think what like a good Massachusetts like reference would be. Think of not Boston, but
Maybe
think of like
Salem
like
or like
yeah,
Woburn.
yeah. Well, I so a little bit bigger than Salem, but
Not.
smaller than Boston. You know,
Yeah.
kind of maybe like think of like Quincy, right? Like
Yep.
Quincy's kind of big, but not. And the reason it's got a lot of people is just because it's a burb of Boston.
Right.
Well, Evening Star is just set out back enough that like there's a regular hustle and bustle. You guys see that there's like a main trade route called the High Road that runs through Evening Star, which goes directly to the capital. So again, trade that's coming out of the Stormhorns, which are the mountains to your left, travels right through there. And then there's a river called the River Thesk that flows down through just north of Evening Star, down and goes into the King's Forest, and then dumps down out into the Dragonmere, many like hundreds of miles to the south. So you guys obviously know each other. You guys have been adventuring. We did talk about like the fact that if you guys want to sort of develop like anything that you've done over like the last six levels, because you're starting at sixth level, to sort of like maybe you know each other intrinsically, maybe there's like some form of relationship between the two of you, like you can work on that as we develop, because you're going to be the primary players in this. You guys find yourself, as many adventures begin, in a tavern. The tavern is called The Last Drop, and you are celebrating the sort of recent completion of a fetch quest that you guys had to do. And you're in the last drop because you got a message from a contact of yours named Jurgen Kneed. And Jurgen has said that he has a job that you guys might be particularly suited for. He knows that you are licensed and that you are capable of working in the parameters of like the legal constructs that are Cormier, and he's asked to meet you for drinks at the Last Drop. I think that it would be a cool thing for the DM to have a quick idea of what you guys look like and what some of the cool shit that you have. If you want to hold it back to be surprising, that's fine. But I had a chance to look up some of the stuff that you sent me. Some of it I recognized, some of it I didn't. And so I'll leave it to you to tell me what you want to tell me about yourself. So whoever wants to go first.
I'll go.
Go for it.
I am a Warforged cleric who, as I said in the text, it's something where I was a forge that was used to build many magical items, and that magic slowly over time with all the items, basically gave me life. And so I haven't come up with exactly, what I look like, but basically how I envision is he's kind of got like a forge, like burning in the center. That's kind of like the life force, like with like magic and stuff. But there's armor just built all around me. My face has the mask of whatever the eye eagle thing. It's a mask that I built into my face, and it's something where my face does not show expression. So there's a shield, and that allows me to change the expression. So if I'm happy, I change the face on the shield to being happy. But
are you so first of all, this is badass, but quick question.
Yes.
Are you capable of communicating, or is it just the expressions that communicate what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I can communicate. It's just something where it's like my face doesn't communicate my expression. I'll say words, but it's just like, check out the shield, though. Okay, all right.
So if you're like, this sucks, but the expression is a smiley face, you're being sarcastic.
Or I forgot to change the shield.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And I think that maybe that's something that over the course of Seraph and Reamer's relationship that you guys have started to get an intrinsic knowledge of.
Yeah.
So that like others may be confused, but I think that you guys probably, unless you don't want it, but I would think that you guys have started to develop a rapport in which you kind of like Seraph, you're kind of like, you tap Reamer on the shoulder sometimes and you point at the shield like, is that what you want to be going with right now? So, all right, that's very cool. And I also think it's cool. So maybe you have a different idea in your head, but like when I looked up the Shield of Expressions, the picture they had was like of an old Greek shield that like had like this really sort of simplistic face on it, like almost like like the face of like the happiness, sadness that you see when you see like the backdrop in a theater.
Yeah.
So are you thinking that, or are you thinking something more stylistic?
Something kind of like that in terms of its simplicity, but not that like face. Just like a different face, but the same sort of like concept.
Okay, very cool, very cool. All right, is there anything else you wanna talk about your character? Oh, can you? So the armor of smoldering that you picked.
Yes.
What does that do? Like, does it just always smolder, or does it like have an additional effect?
That was it.
Okay, all right. No, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't like, I can fill a room with smoke and everyone can't see or something.
Advantage, and it's like, okay, hold on, fuck, that's cool, but damn it.
Yeah, this is a cool effect. Only it's not an effect.
And
but
it's
all right,
10 of them. Strongest armor ever, offensively.
Nice. Awesome. All right, so very cool. All right, that's Reamer. Seraph, what do you want to tell us about you? Or like describe yourself or reveal about yourself?
It's strange with Asmir or whatever they're called, is they're presented as humans, really. And like when I looked up a lot of drawings, people just go for like the human interpretation of it. But it does say like in their description that, there's other people that can tell that, this is Asimar or whatever.
I've heard
And
it's pronounced both ways, so whatever you want to go with, where I'm happy to do.
yeah, I mean, every time I look at it, I like say it. Asimar is what this is what Beyond is telling me.
I've also heard that, like, or I've read
Aasimar.
that the Asimir or the Asimar don't just have to be human, because like the are the other half of the relationship that spawned you can be anything. Like there are Hound Archons or Archons. There are Celestials that look like lions. There are Celestials that look like humans. Like, I mean, you guys faced a diva once that looked like an old man. So like literally the sky's the limit as far as I'm concerned with this. So what do you think that Seraph looks like?
Right. No, I was just I wanted there to be a distinguishing feature, and trying to hide that as much as possible, because usually when people see Asimar, they're like, oh, this one's here to conquer evil. They're usually like, will do anything to stop evil in the area. And so they like to keep it low key so that they're not alerting all the evil cultists and stuff. So I was thinking of having some kind of glow to the eyes. I don't know if you've looked up
Asimir, I've read and heard some people that do that. Do you think like your eyes just sort of shimmer in the darkness, or do you think like your eyes actually like radiate? Like
it would be
like kind of. Do you remember in Ben 10, the guy that like sucked people's power or like their life essence, and he would glow like golden? I'm not saying you're evil and that's what you're doing. I'm just saying like are you thinking something along that line?
I'm not sure. I haven't seen that. So I would say like if it's dark, people would start to see some kind of light.
Okay. So like during like daylight and things like that, it's not something that's obvious. Like when a room is lit, it's not obvious. But when things start to get darker and darker, you kind of have this illumination that you're saying is kind of around your eyes, right?
Right.
Okay.
So that would be like the giveaway, and there's no real description of like their skin, but I'm gonna go with like it being off color, like that grayish purple thing they got going on. Just to provide that. In terms of features, it's like half elf, because of the god that I follow, I believe, is an elven god.
What's the deity?
What are you, Kevin?
Where's my phone? I don't know.
I think he muted himself.
There it is.
Did you go with Selvin?
Darl Delvar Tilvinar. I don't even know how to say that.
Okay. I'll have to like either I don't recognize it. It's something new that's come up. But is he like what is he the god?
Fire, earth, metalwork, forge, and light. And I would be like the light.
Oh, so he's like an elvish forge.
Yeah, like it was weird because I looked up the other one and dwarven, but I found this in like a Mordecai's, and it said it was under elven deity, so I was just like, all right, cool.
Well,
so I was going to go with like
the elves, the elves are known of functionality. So the concept that an elf would be someone who works at a forge is not foreign. It's just that when we think of forges, we normally immediately think of dwarves, right? Like that's just the common thought. But it's in no ways it's something that I think stretches the imagination, especially when we're playing a game that's based entirely in imagination. But
right.
All right.
So like
cool.
There was that, and then in the way I'm picturing this is that is it Reamer?
Yeah, Reamer.
Yeah, Reamer. Like came to life and is in these abandoned ruins, right? Abandoned
Yeah, hold
Kevin?
on. Am I muted? No, I'm good now.
No, you're back
Yeah, I
now.
unmuted.
You're back
So
now.
yeah, that's exactly it. And if it's more elven works, then elven works. I'm not tied to the dwarf thing. So
I
whatever the
mean, like
runes are.
I was cool with it being dwarf, but as as we met, things changed. So here's what I was thinking: like wherever I met you, and then you're like, okay, I've come to life, and you're kind of going around. You're like, what do I do? I only know how to forge, and you're forging and whatnot.
Yep.
And then I fall, and I don't really have memory of that, or it's slowly coming back. Like, why did I fall out of the heavens? And I I lost an item of mine that is like linked to the heavens that I'm in search of, uh, and I think I'm just going to keep saying a sword. Like I'm looking for my sword, and then Kevin,
You're really playing that Diablo role.
totally. But the only reason I side with that, because I was thinking of what I have, is because I would tell Reamer I'm looking for my sword, and he would hand me the one that I have currently. He's like, yeah, this is magical. Are you looking for something like this? And I'm like, I will take this in the meantime. And then the sword I have currently is the longsword of warning.
And does that so I didn't look that up. Does that give you some sort of like preternatural heads up when something's coming, like advantage on perception checks or something
Yeah,
like
it's Sting.
When danger is in 30 feet, it alerts you. If you're sleeping, the sword wakes you up. And if you have the sword,
I'm sorry, I just imagine like the sword growing arms and a mouth and being like, hey, slaps you, wake up.
I guess the idea is for it to shimmer, but both work equally well and with magic, right? So
Yeah. I was recently listening to a podcast where somebody was like, an argument had been raised that like, hey, that can't happen, it doesn't, blah blah blah, and this other player just responded by going, you live in a world where magic makes anything possible, and the gods literally come down and talk to you. What is impossible in this world? There is nothing that is impossible in this world. So calm down. So
it was of gods. I mean, things change.
Yeah.
Oh, and just I think that this was something that we may have talked about, like just as a brief moment in another game at another point. So just so you guys know, if this ever comes up, and I don't think this will ever come up in this game, and this isn't like me foreshadowing at all. I don't think it'll ever come up. But this just goes back to like TJ like being like, does the world start with an E or an A or what? So in the pantheon of gods, there is like the gods that we've talked about. There's your deity, TJ. There's there's Moradin for the dwarves. There's Grummish for the orcs. There's all these different deities. And above them is this like all-powerful being called Ao. Literally A-O is how you spell it. And Ao basically created the world and like the worlds and the universes, and then went, I'm bored, and took off. And maybe like once in the entire history of Faerun did he show back up and was like, whoa, everybody pump the brakes, you're screwing things up too much. And that was actually called the Time of Troubles. So aptly named.
Made all the gods except for one mortal, right?
Yes. He basically said, you guys have screwed up enough. Go and figure out your shit on like the mortal plane. Like you still have like godlike powers. Yeah. That there was a lot of bad news bands that came out of that. And after that he showed up again and was like, all right, maybe I screwed up, but this is how we're gonna run things. And then took off again, and then that was that. So yeah. I just wanted to throw that out just in case like any of that sparked something for TJ and he was like, oh, that's the shit I was talking about. But anyways, all right. So as I said, you guys, very very cool descriptions, guys. I love both of these characters. I think that they're really interesting. I think there's a lot that we can do with like backstory and building and going forward. Or maybe we won't. Maybe you guys will just adventure and see what happens. But you find yourselves in the last drop. Outside, swinging as you went in, is this old wooden sign that has like a teardrop image next to a noose, and you realize that it's sort of like the local comedic flavor to say that the last drop could refer to either. And you go in, and it's like your typical fantasy bar room. There's like a bar at the far end that kind of makes a big L. There's actually a couple bartenders behind it because it's closing time. People are going in. They're worried about self quarantining, so they're grabbing some beers and going home. I'm kidding. I'm bringing too much real world into the fantasy, but like folks are sitting around. There's a fire. There's like a small fire going on the side. The fire is creating enough heat that the building is warm and comfortable as you go in. Like I said, you're sort of celebrating the fact that you've recently created or finished a job that you had taken on, and you're there to meet Jurgen Knied. What do you guys want to do?
Have we've already been in this town for a bit?
You've been in Cormyr for a while. That you acquired your sort of adventuring licenses. You've been, and basically once you have that, people will, like, in the very simplistic fetch quest concept of most fantasy role-playing games or like fantasy computer games, you go to the signboard and you find out what's up, and then either you go and talk to the person or you come back with like the orc's head and drop it off at the door and grab your sack of gold.
Yep.
So that's kind of like how Cormyr works. Periodically there'll be like town criers that come through the larger towns, like offering or calling out for adventurers to come join up for something that Cormyr in general needs. Like pirates have traveled up the river Vesk from the port of Marsember, and they need to be like beaten back into the Dragonmere Sea, and so like adventurers will be called in mass, and then you go down. You guys really haven't responded to any of them yet, not because you're cowards or not because you're fearful of it. There haven't been that many recently, and you guys are also like trying to make a name for yourself. Like, you guys probably don't feel like you're going to spend your entire lives in Cormyr, but you definitely feel like this is a place that you can make a reputation and maybe find some information. So maybe through like trades and talk, Seraph, you can find out about like some clue about this sword that you just feel you need to find. And Reamer, you're sort of like, I just imagine that the more that you come in contact with culture and society and the variety that's there, it's like, like it's a kid in a candy store. Like you keep getting more and more experiences. Maybe some you like, maybe some you don't, but you keep growing as this like sentient life form. And you're just like, oh shit, that's a forest. I've never seen that before. Oh shit, that's a pig trap. I've never seen that before. Oh shit, that's somebody from Karator. Karator, by the way, is what like Asia is in Forgotten Realms. And you would actually, you have the potential to see people like that traveling in and through Cormyr because of the riches and the mercantile hood that this kingdom has.
Okay.
But you're in a bar. You go in. You're both feeling pretty good. And what do you guys do?
Well, I'm always constantly smoking, so I guess we're probably in the smoking section.
You notice as you come in, like there's a waitress that comes up and she's like, "Would you guys like it?" And she's just like, "Oh, follow me," and just kind of like puts you into this section where there's like it's not a velvet rope, it's more of like a hemp rope, and just like you look over and there's like a half orc sitting there with like 3 cigars between 2 fingers, and he's just like, and there's a gnome with like a pipe that goes out like 6 feet that's just sort of got his feet up on the table and he's holding it with 2 hands like. And then blowing it up into the air, and there's, like he's turning it into the form like a large that soars around him, and he laughs, and he's like, and then he just takes another puff and kind of like looks off, like thinking about life.
All right, so what I think I'm gonna do is, since we're in like a public area, and I know I've learned not to do this. I do not pull out like a giant, like one of the swords that's like embedded in my body. I pull out one of the small daggers, and I swing out my small hammer from my forearm, and I start doing a little bit of blacksmithing. Nothing
Like on a
crazy where anyone's
wait,
gonna
like
be.
on yourself or like just on a table?
Yeah, like I'm putting it on my like lap, like so I have something hard to hit it against. But it's just like
Okay.
ting 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 ting, like I'm sneaking it, like a true addict.
Uh,
So,
yeah.
okay. So
Like
you're
just
We're
like
like
gonna
ting
lean
ting
over and
ting.
say,
It's
ting,
just
not
a little
ting, ting,
dagger.
ting.
not the time or the place. But you do you, bud.
You immediately know, like both of you don't need to make perception checks. You immediately notice that as this is happening, like everyone is like not everyone, but anyone who's around who like the regular bustle. Like we've all walked into a bar and realized like the elevation of sound has increased because people are talking. There's like conversations going on, and it's not like the record scratches. Like conversations continue, but you all start to notice like heads turning and looking toward what this annoying like ding 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 where it's coming from, and there's just this there's an individual there just no one seems annoyed or like too incensed by it at the moment, but Seraph as an individual who's probably more attuned to this, you realize that there's a potential that somebody could be upset by this, but whatever, nobody's upset yet.
Okay. And what was our friend's name again?
His name is Jurgen Kneed.
Jurgen. Alright, yeah. I gotta look for Jurgen, and now that we've made a little bit of a scene, has he spotted us?
So give me a perception check or investigation check, whichever works better.
Perception. This character is +2, so that is a 20.
Oh, nice. So you look through the bar, and you guys have met Jurgen before. Jurgen is Jurgen's kind of like a living signboard. Like remember the signboard I was just describing in like a video game where like your character walks up, you like you hit the X button and it's like these are the quests that are available. Yeah. Like
Ding, ding, ding.
Jurgen's kind of a facilitator. He is an adventurer in his own right, but he can profit from getting people to do jobs. He kind of like is looking for subcontractors, right? So if the reward is 1,000 gold and he finds people to do it for 600, he does it. But he also gets like the announcements that other people don't get. So that's what makes it good to know Jurgen, right? So if Jurgen comes to you and says, "Hey, you want to go do this thing?" He's doing it because he's going to make money, but he's also doing it because he thinks that you're capable of taking care of the problem. So with a 20, you look throughout the bar. You don't see Jurgen yet. You know that he's going to meet you here. You just don't see him yet. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for? Because I do want to reward a 20 with something. So I know it's not a natural 20, but like with something.
Yeah. I'm looking for him, and if I don't know what I would be looking for in a bar besides him.
All right, so you kind of you stare across like everything, and you notice, not because you were looking for it, but because your eyes are so sharp or like attuned to trying to find a specific thing. You do notice a figure with like a hood and a cloak, just sort of sitting off by themselves by a window, right? Like kind of looking across. Think very the first time we meet Aragorn in Lord of the Rings, right? Like sitting in a corner, having a drink, hood up. But you notice with your roll that he has a lot of scars on his left arm that's apparent, that's like holding the mug. Like his arm is out from under the cloak, and you see that like there are these deep like white sort of scarring marks that like crisscross his arm. Like it looks like somebody that's been cut up somehow a lot. It's not something that like sets the hair on the back of your head off or anything, but you do notice that like like everybody in here ranges from like, Johnny, I just finished my office job and I want a few before I go home to the wife and kids, to like the folks that are here for like the night because they're like, I don't have to be to work tomorrow, so goodbye world. And they're just throwing back like 3 drinks at a time. And so like you kind of take all of this in, and the overall mood is merriment. Like you're like, the last drop is kind of like, it's the dive bar, but it's a local like fan favorite, you know, like if Yelp reviews were a thing, people would be like, yeah, it sucks, but it's fun and everyone has a good time. And so, and nobody really ever gets stabbed. So like that's the kind of like review of the place that you would know.
So at first I thought he looked suspicious, but now he doesn't.
It's not suspicious. It's just noticeable, and because you rolled so high, it's something that you noticed. I mean, what you want to do with it is totally up to you. I'm just telling you that, like, are there people in here with scars? Sure. Are there people in here with weapons? Sure. Is there somebody trying to, like, self-forge a knife right now? Sure. Like, that's happening right next to you. But you just happen to notice that this person is looking like they're trying to stay as inconspicuous as possible. And their arm kind of made them noticeable, right? Like as soon as they put their arm back, they went to just looking like a covered figure in the corner.
I do have to say, I'm not forging a knife or a dagger. I'm just fixing it up, touching up. Okay. I'm not being ridiculous, you guys.
Wait, said anybody with a forging addiction. Just saying.
I feel like what's his face who picked up Tom Segura. I'm not forging it, Tom. You fucking piece of
Mike
shit.
Mike Tyson. Oh.
Tom. Yeah.
It was Sir at the beginning of the session.
Oh, the driver.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I forgot about that bit.
I just stare through my peephole and freak the fuck out. He still has stories about that guy. He didn't fire him. It's amazing.
Well, I mean, that guy's literally a trove for like the next bit he's gonna do. But all right, so
True.
do you want to do anything else on your turn? You kind of like, you know, you perused the bar, you looked around, you kind of looked at Reamer and was like, "Are you sure you want to be doing that?" And he's like, ding, 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 ding. And you're like, "All right, man, you do you." You look around the bar trying to find Jurgen, and you see this figure like across the sort of room, I should say, and you notice him. He doesn't seem to really notice you or look your way. You just notice this figure and these like very apparent like scars.
I'm trying to figure out who would be socially appropriate to talk to, because I don't know that guy and I don't know what I'm going to just say. Be like, "Oh, what's up with your scar?" That's rude. So I think I'll go and
how you got those scars.
Mr.
Joker.
Wait.
Right.
If you ever met anybody who had very obvious scars or disfigurement, there's one of two ways that conversation goes. Either that person fully that it's noticeable and they're like, "Yeah, let me tell you a story, but I'll tell you a story if you buy me a beer," right? Like if you're sitting at a bar, that's how you do that. Or they freak out and then you get jumped by a bunch of friends. Like that, I mean, this is like, "Oh, I didn't have a finger." You're like, "Get out of here, you hand racist!" Like that's the only.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it. So,
for another Tom Segura joke, when he said he's out to dinner with his dad, if someone's tall, there's no way he's not mentioning it. Just like, "Oh wow, you're tall." It's like, yeah. So
Tommy Lee Jones is gay. Really? You know that for a fact?
I've been telling everybody
I thought he was.
I thought he was. Yeah. That is a funny bit. But all right. So yeah. So what are you doing?
I don't think I'm going to do anything with that.
All right. So
I don't think I'm going to ask him.
Okay, yeah, no, that's totally fine. So you kind of sit down, like the two of you had been like, you know, pushed into the smoking only section. And and clearly you're sitting right next to the most
cause.
smoky person there is, for a number of reasons. And I would like you and Reamer to give me perception checks.
My dice.
I need to find my dice bag. Where the hell did that go?
Exactly. I'm like, oh, okay, good. It's right here.
Oh, there it is. All right.
A 13.
Where are these? Ooh, that's a lot. So that is 27.
Okay. So, Reamer, you're sitting there like, I'm not doing any forging. It's totally fine. Ding, 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 ding. And you notice that moving through the crowd, almost like, I don't want to say like it's not like he's moving imperceptibly. He's just moving like a person who knows how to move through a crowd. Like, have you ever like gone into like a parade or something, and there's that one dude that like is like, 100 feet in front of you going, dude, why can't you keep up? And you're like, because all the jerks, like, how are you doing this? And so that's kind of what you see. And you see this figure moving in, and all of a sudden he's right next to Seraph, reaching out to his shoulder. And as you notice that, you realize that Jurgen has come up to you guys. And Seraph, you're kind of like, still trying to keep your eye out, see what's going on. And you feel like a light tap on your shoulder. Not like aggressive, like just like a hand that's sort of like, hey.
Hey, buddy.
And I'll greet Jurgen with pleasure.
So you turn around, punch him in the face. No, so like you turn around, you're like, oh god.
With pleasure.
You turn around, and Jurgen looks at the two of you and like nods.
That's how he likes
Jurgen is a small human, like not like he's not a dwarf, but he's like 5'1". Like he is a small human, and he kind of looks at the two of you, nods, and kind of says, "I've word of a job," and like kind of like turns and he says, it doesn't say anything, and starts walking towards like the back end of the tavern that you guys are in. And he kind of like, and he just starts walking through the crowd, like starts swiftly, almost like disappearing through people again.
He said, what about a job?
Yeah.
He said, I've got a job for you too.
All right. And then he walks away.
Yeah. And you guys have met and dealt with Jurgen before. And so you guys are kind of like, fucking Johnny Mystery. Okay. We should probably follow him.
Like if we want the job, it's
if you want the job, like go find him. Like, and if you're just like, Jurgen, I hate you, like he's gonna find somebody else. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna find him.
Okay, all right, and like he doesn't move. You don't notice, Sarah, but Reamer, you notice that he's actually moving a little slower through the crowd than he did when he first came through, when you picked him up. Like your senses were like were just spot on, and you saw him like flitting in between people, like almost like moving Tetris blocks around, just like blip, 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 blip. And stuff. That's why you didn't see him when you were looking around. Like, he was just he's perfect in a crowd. Like you just can't find him.
Perfect.
Yeah, and so. He's now, Reamer, you notice he's moving slower now so that you guys can follow. And so he goes back, and in the back side of the bar, it's not like a club where there's like, armed security or whatever, but there's an area where there's a set of tables that are set off from the main sort of like culminating area. And he just like walks up and walks through, and nobody bats an eye. Do you guys follow?
Yes.
As you guys get there, you notice that like there's like maybe 3 or 4 other people that are sitting there. There's another half orc, but this half orc looks like he's dressed in a suit. Like think of like fantasy suit, but he's dressed in a suit, and like he kind of like raises an eyebrow. You also notice that there is a dragonborn who seemed asleep, but as soon as sitting at another table with like these two women leaning on him, and as soon as like you came in, like one eye opened and you saw like that sort of snake eye like slit and look at you, and as you kind of like step through the same like not I don't know like not guarded area, you saw Jurgen just like speak for the first time again, and he says, "Over here, fellas." And like the Dragonborn's eye closes, the half orc like goes back to like fiddling around with whatever he was playing with, and it's not like you guys felt threatened. You just were immediately aware that you were walking into a place that like if you were just like, "Hey man, let me go sit at this table," that probably would not fly at all. And so
The
you go
sketchy
over.
part of the bar.
Yeah, it's not. Well, it's not so much. So like, if have you ever been to a
Now that
bar
we're here.
where? Have you ever been to a bar where there's like a VIP area?
No.
All right. So
if I have, I don't know what's there.
okay. So fair enough. So if you're ever in a bar and there's a VIP area, normally there's a guy that looks like his arms are the size of your legs standing there, and as you try to walk in, he's like, "Nope," or you get thrown out, or you get punched in the face. Because if you don't flash cash and get in there, or somebody says you can get in there, that's how that works. On the other hand, in this place, there was not that, but as you guys entered, it seemed like your presence immediately alerted several people that maybe you shouldn't have walked in here. And if ever anybody wants to hear the story about a bunch of hard guys, like literal, like heavies on St. Patrick's Day, I'll tell you that story another point. But so you guys come in, the eyes open, kind of like hackles get raised, and Jurgen's like, "Oh, it's cool, whatever." And you go over and sit down, and it's like a simple wooden table. And he says, "I understand you guys recently completed another adventure here in the Kingdom of Cormyr. So cheers to that." And he reaches down, and there's 3 mugs of ale on the table already. You didn't even see him get delivered. Do you guys partake? Do you not partake? No hard feeling, like Jurgen says, no hard feelings if this isn't your style. But typically, a celebration deserves a celebration. So he like grabs his pint, puts it up if you're gonna have some too.
Okay, so
Sure.
Reamer, are you a drinker as well?
I'm going to stop hitting the dagger on my chest, and then I'm gonna flip the hinge. The hammer just goes back into my forearm, and I shove the dagger back into its socket in my chest, and I sit down to grab my drink.
I would also like to say that I did not imagine until this very moment that you are continuing to do that as you walk through the crowd. But I love this way better than the image
So
I had.
instead of, I wasn't able to really get as much on it because I wasn't able to use my knee and like a base. So I'm like having to tinker with it like on my chest and like keep an eye out for who is it now? Seraph. So I'm like, okay, good.
Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
How tall are you, Seraph?
Almost 6 feet,
Okay,
Okay.
I think.
All right.
because I'm almost.
So you're
I'm
a
almost
little
7
bit
feet.
above the average height of
Right.
So Jared kind of like cheers you guys, and he says, "I have another job. This one pays pretty good. I've heard that it can pay." And he looks at both of you and he says, "We've worked together before, and you know my deal. I'm a subcontractor, and I make sure that the right people get to the right place. I take a cut, but that generally is something that I determine, and you guys get to reap the rewards of what's left. This has worked out before. I suggest this works again. Here's the job. How much do you know about Iron Shields and the Glittering Debate?"
Iron Shields and the Glittering Debate.
I've worked with iron shields for centuries.
And so he looked at you and says, "That's amazing. You don't look a day over, I don't know. That's amazing. What do you know about the Glittering Debate then?"
Well, I've worked with iron shields for centuries. That's all I know. I've worked with mithril shields. I've worked.
I'm just gonna do a quick sense motive does a 16 realize that you're literally talking about shields made of iron instead of a clan known as Iron Shields?
I hope so, because I'm Bubba Gumping this.
Okay, all right.
Because it's like
he originally thought that you knew what he was talking about, and was really, and then like kind of looks at you again and realizes that you were walking through a bar trying to forge a knife on your chest, and goes, takes a deep sigh and says, "Let me explain a little more clearly for everyone.
Please do."
I'm always willing to.
There are two large mountain ranges that surround Cormyr. There's the Stormhorns and the Thunder Peaks. In the Stormhorns and the Thunder Peaks, there are any number of dwarven clans and strongholds. Why? Because each of these mountain ranges is rich in various types of ore and metals and etc. It's another reason why Cormyr is what it is, because the dwarves mine it, they make cool stuff, and then they bring it down and either sell it here or trade it for goods within the cities. And that's another way that this whole region keeps going. In the Stormhorns, one of the larger clans is one known as the I apologize, the Iron Shields. And the Iron Shields have been elected to host the Glittering Debate this year. And the Glittering Debate, because I don't think that you know what this is. I'm not trying to treat you like children. It just sounds like you don't know what this is. The Glittering Debate is a competition between rival dwarven clans to see who can make the best, the brightest, and the most fantastic items. Each year, a different clan or stronghold is selected to host this event. And it's a way for all of the clans from the Thunder Peaks and the Stormhorns to gather together with their craftsmen and really show off what is happening. Think of it as like the Dwarven Olympics, right? Like, even if you don't care about people who can make like silver cup, if you're a dwarf and your hometown has been selected for this, this is going to blow your mind. You want to be part of it. And so the Glittering Debate will be held in the Iron Shields area, or the Iron Shields home this year. And their sort of like clan stronghold is known as Silver's Hollow. Silver's Hollow is nestled deep. It's not nestled too deep, but it's nestled in the Stormhorns to the north of here. We have to follow the River Thesk up to almost its beginning. And again, you guys, if you're looking at the map, that's that river heading north out of Evening Star. It's about a day's ride, and following the river will literally lead you to the footsteps and the footholds that lead you into Silver's Hollow. Silver's Hollow is having a bit of a problem, it sounds like. I have a contact who is very close to the leader of the Iron Shields, and his name is Fargus. Fargus has told me that they need some muscle, some outside muscle, to come in and take care of a problem that was recently discovered. And the reason that they need this muscle is because everybody is so wrapped up with the upcoming Glittering Debate that they need everything to sort of remain as calm and as stable as possible while taking care of a problem that seems to be arising. He was a little void. Fargus was like non-descriptive in saying what that problem was, but that he felt that a couple of lads that I felt could handle a situation or two would probably be the best folks to submit to the cause. I know you guys had just wrapped up a quest. We've done business before. I think you're starting to make a name for yourselves. I think this would really do good for you. I can tell you that the pot for this is 500 gold ahead. And I can also tell you that having the Iron Shields owe you a favor does a lot with regards to either future market purchases you might be looking to make or items that you need crafted. Think like heavy discount. Is this something that you guys would be interested in?
Yes, we're going. I'm going. Yes.
he's not like he's just yes. It goes back to fortune.
It's more of a
Sarah, what do you
yes.
think?
I'm going to the blacksmithing contest. Yep.
So,
Okay.
to clarify the job, it's just to keep the peace.
No, so he looks at you and he says, "That's a good question. I've been told that if you so choose to take this job, once you report to Silver's Hollow, Fargus will make the proper introductions and tell you the extent of the problem. He also says that if you arrive and decide that you cannot deal with the problem, no hard feelings, but that he will be a little upset at me for having sent you because he expected me to make the right choice off the bat. So
Any idea what the problem is?
beyond the fact that Fargus says that he needs some muscle that is not from Silver's Hollow, that's all I know. He said that a problem arose. I'll tell you in full disclosure. He said a problem arose recently when, in preparation for the glittering debate, some of Iron Shield's digging in an area that they hadn't again, and it created some problems. Care of, and that they and he used like the sort of, like bigwig they, like the powers that be kind of they want this handled quietly and quickly so that none of it gets out during the glittering debate.
I'm not opposed to going to this place. I'll say to Reamer, but this job.
Seraph, can we go to the Can we go to the blacksmithing competition? Seraph, can we please?
Yeah.
Can we please go?
We can go. This job.
Yes.
It sounds suspicious.
And Jurgen kind of looks at the both of you and he says, "Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. Does this sound like it's got some sketchiness to it? Yes. But Fargus has never, ever led me or anyone I've ever hooked up with a job awry. Generally, if a dwarf tells you there's a problem, it's pretty straightforward. As far as what this problem is, Fargus is being particularly sketchy and letting me know the details. I would suggest you go and check it out. If it's something you immediately get bad feelings about, no hard feelings. It kind of burns me in the end, but I understand I'll find somebody else to do it. But if you guys are willing to take it on, then I suggest you guys go make 500 each and also get some recognition and potentially some trade loans."
All right, we can look into it for you. I just hope that we can accept the job.
He says, "Appreciated." And I got to take a brief pause, so I'll be right back.
Kevin, you here?
I'm here.
Oh. At the middle of that, I heard like that log off sound. I didn't know.
There was I don't know. There was like a din.
Yeah.
Something like disconnected or something. I don't know. Who knows? Like sometimes that'll happen. Like I'll put my phone onto like the wireless charger and then everything just disconnects because it's hooked up through a USB port, like splitter. So it's like everything on the USB splitter just goes, "What is this?" And then you go, "Oh, never mind. I got it." And, yeah. Okay. It's like, what? What? Okay. Sure. So, Reamer is fucking pumped right now.
Yeah. Not looking at the mission, but wants to be like, yeah, where all the forges are.
Yeah. Oh, no. I didn't hear anything after that.
Yeah.
Just, the glittering debate is a competition where you create the most whatever. It's like, oh, and dwarves, and we're going to go to that. That's fun. Good. Okay.
That I can promise, but I'm getting the feeling like we need to take somebody out in order to like change the odds or something.
Well, we'll see what happens, and then if we have to bash someone in the face, and if Fargus is a bad guy and he has to be bashed in the face, then we bash him in the face. Or if there's someone being a jerk, we might bash them in the face. There's gonna be bash.
So I got a chance to listen to all of that. I love the fact that there's a robot forger just who keeps repeating the word bashing. That makes my day. All right, so not to have to get into like the nitty gritty of it, you accept the job with Jurgen. Jurgen basically says, "Awesome, I'll buy another round to sort of." This task that you report back here and let me know about it. If something decides to send you a different way, then so. But know that I have been that I stay in contact with Fargus via Ravens, and that's how I was informed about this job. So I'm sure that however it goes, I'll probably find out before you get back here. And as he says that, you two give me a quick perception check just for one last thing before I get into one more thing.
12.
You notice that
22.
Well, actually, you rolled a 12. What did you roll, Reamer?
22.
22. All right. So Reamer notices, and Seraph, you kind of catch on as this starts to happen, that the cloak or like the sort of like cover shawl thing that Jared has on starts to move a little bit, and he kind of glances down and says, "Oh, time for another message," and reaches underneath the cloak and pulls his hand out, and there's this tiny bird that he pulls out. Reamer, you notice like this must have been like pecking the inside of like the coat or something, and he looks at it and he says a word that you guys don't know. What languages do you guys speak?
Dwarven and Common currently.
Okay, Sarah?
Celestial, infernal, and abyssal.
All right, you don't recognize this word, but he basically is like and says this word, and then the bird like stops moving and looks up at him, and so he puts it up to his ear and listens, and he goes, and then he puts this tiny bird back under his cloak, almost like there's a pocket for it or something, and he says, "Well, let's finish up these beers. I'll buy you one more round just because I'm a nice guy, and I have other business I need to attend to. So you can stay back here as long as you want. There is lodging and procurement for you tonight in the inn, and 2 horses to lead you to the Stormhorns and the foothill of Silver's Hollow in the morning. I will hopefully hear that good things have happened." He says, "So cheers." He walks off, and as he walks off, one of the barmaids comes over and drops another 2 tankards down in front of you guys. And is there anything that you guys would like to accomplish in Evening Star before the next morning when you set out?
Did you say there are 2 whores?
Horses?
Yeah, you guys
okay.
are going to ride 2 whores all day. No.
It broke up,
Horse.
and I'm like, wait, what's happening? I mean, I'll
Shit's
have to
gonna
play a
get
different
really
character
weird.
if this is the
Really
Okay, I think. The one thing I would ask is if I could get like a carriage so I don't kill a horse. Just kind of pull the log.
That's fair.
So, yeah, I just don't want.
That's fair. You know what? I feel that Jurgen would have taken that into consideration. So
yeah, probably. So,
not to worry.
Yeah. Other than that, it's kind of I'm sharpening a different blade behind my back.
All right, so you're sitting there finishing your last beer, working on another blade,
but
like
stealthily, like everyone knows.
As quietly as you can strike metal with metal. Like
no,
clearly.
No, I'm not striking metal. I'm this time I'm sharpening it. So like I've got a blade
as quietly as you can rub metal on metal.
Exactly.
Clearly the quietest thing you can do.
Exactly.
All right.
I think I'm stealthy because I'm not doing like banging a sword or something. So it's like it's like no one even knows.
You're right. Yeah, nobody knows that's not true. But all right, Seraph, was there anything that you wanted to do, like achieve or whatever, before the next morning?
Yeah. I know that he is offering a horse, but
Mhm.
if I had like my own steed already, because I have like the spell Find Steed.
You could absolutely do that and have an additional horse if you wanted, or you could just use the horse. Entirely up to you.
I'll just take
All
both
right, well,
horses.
I'm just trying to figure out. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with taking the horse. It's just there's a couple other benefits to having this, and I kind of want to like say that I cast it before I take a long rest.
Okay, listen,
Just for that
if
spell
that's what you
slot.
want to do, like no one's going to be upset by it. I'll tell you that.
Okay, cool. This is a little bit better than a normal horse.
Okay, cool. All right, so you cast that. You summon a horse. Does the casting of it bring a creature that only lasts for a certain amount of time, or is it like a permanent kind of thing?
It is a permanent kind of thing unless the horse, serves you both in and out of combat, allows you to fight as a seamless unit. It disappears if its hit points go to 0. I can dismiss it, causing it to disappear. Huh. I guess I just need it by me until I dismiss it. I thought this was a
Okay.
thing that just like existed because, while your steed is within a mile of you, you can communicate with it telepathically.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. See, that's
So-
why I was just like, this.
Taking it. Yeah, no. I mean, fair enough. So I'll say that you summon the horse, and maybe like you summon the horse to like something outside of Evening Star, like some of the fields, so like it can graze for the evening or whatever. And then in the morning, as you guys rise up and get ready to go, you can summon it, and it will come to you.
Cool.
All right. And then when you wake up in the morning, it's been slaughtered and eviscerated. No, kidding. Totally kidding. So, okay. So you guys go to sleep. You have a restful night. You get a full night's rest. Everything's back, spell slots, etc. And it's the next morning. And you guys wake up. You go downstairs, maybe grab some breakfast, do whatever you got to do. And sure enough, out in front with a note tied like pinned to it, there is a large draft horse with a cart behind it that looks pretty much the exact size that Reamer would need to go for a long cart ride. And then there is a horse that Seraph can decide to do with as Seraph chooses. But there is a note. If you guys go and look at that, the note says, "I trust that this will be enough to get you to Silver's Hollow. Follow the Thesk River into the foothills, and then you'll begin to see the symbols and the signs that will lead you further. When you get to the doorway, say that Fargus has asked for you, and either he will come for you or someone will lead you to Fargus." And at the bottom it says, "Jorgens Kneed." And it's spelt Kneed.
Okay.
Cool.
Let's put the 2 horses together on the one cart. Can we do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
All right. So you guys set out, and I mean, it's easy enough to find the river. Like the Thesk River is like a major river. Like there's boats and barges and things that sail along it, so it's not difficult to follow the path of the river. And it basically doglegs just north of Evening Star and starts heading north, and then starts winding to the northeast as it goes further. You guys can see on the map. So what I need you guys to do, one of you guys, you can pick who it is. I need you to roll a d12 and a d8 and tell me what the total is.
I got the 12.
Okay.
Got a 10.
4 on the D8.
All right, so 14 total.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I need you to roll a percentile die. So either 2d10s and tell me what you get, or I need you to roll, or somebody roll a d100. I got a d100 for Christmas, but I'm not playing.
Got a 40. 2d10.
Even. All right. All right. You make good time, whether it's because it's a nice bright day, or because maybe the wind's at your back, or maybe by putting the two horses together to pull the cart with the 1,000 pounds of forge that is Reamer. You make good time. And you guys find that not at dusk, but probably late afternoon, you arrive at the foothills, which is, I need to grab a mouse to do this, is right where the River Thesk starts to enter in. And I'm going to need you guys to make some perception checks. Or not, if you don't want to.
I got a natural 1, so I am just singing in my head.
Yeah, I got a 29. So.
I'm a god, I'm a god, I'm a god, I'm a god, I'm a god. All right, what did you get there, Reamer?
29.
29. All right. So, Sarah, you're kind of lost in your own thoughts. You know, like, where is my sword? Why am I doing this job? Am I going to have to murder someone? And Reamer, you're just, like, honed in. You've been sitting in the back, tinkering with your stuff, and you're like, I gotta be part of this competition. Where is this competition? And you see a stone that looks like a stone, but upon like closer inspection, like you kind of zero right in on it. There's a series of bands, like circles that have been carved around the stone that, like, on first glance, kind of look like striations from like different strata. You know, like if you look at a piece of granite and you see like there's a line running through it that happens to be quartz, or that happens to be like like another like igneous stone or something like that, then so be it. But these are clearly marks. And as you see one, you start looking ahead and you see another. And sure enough, with that perception check, you start to see that these little like lightly marked cairns, if you will, like they're not stack stones, they're just stones, but they have these delicate like ringed carvings in them, are leading a path. Do you want to sort of like take the lead, or do you want to just sit back and see if Seraph like drives you into the side of a mountain or something?
I think I would give him the heads up, if that works.
All right, Seraph, give me a reroll on that perception check.
Uh, 13.
You cannot see these. You are. It's not that you're like it's not that you're unable to see or you're struck blind or whatever, but there just seems to be something about these that what Reamer's telling you, you're not seeing. You're just not seeing. Like, you see stones, but as far as like marks that seem to like lead a path or whatever, you do not see it.
All right, so then in that case, I think I would want to take the lead.
Seraph, do you have a problem with that, or are you okay with it?
No, I'm trying to figure out what he's up to.
Okay, all right. So Reamer, I mean, you see these clear as day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of take the lead and start going forward. I'm going to need you to give me one more perception check.
Okay, so that is actually 28.
Okay, so just crushing these things.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I don't know why the map is doing this. Sorry about that. If you guys saw that, sorry, I wasn't messing with the map.
No,
So
we're
you
still
see,
on the big one. If
yeah,
whole
with
country.
us like heading towards the storm horns and everything.
Yeah.
I like for some reason the mouse had clicked and dragged the image to like double image it and then left it that way, and I'm like, that's not what you should be looking at all.
Right.
But anyways, so you see that these like ring stones lead to a doorway that has the same 3 bands across it. Seraph, give me one last perception check.
Okay. Oh, 21.
21. Up until this point, you were really, because the stones were kind of in a haphazard path, right? Like it wasn't just like following the river. It was like sort of like go left for a little bit, then switch back to the right, then go straight, then kind of double back a little bit and go back up. And so after maybe like 20 minutes or half an hour of following Reamer, you were really starting to think, you've lost your mind, man. Meanwhile, Reamer is seeing this path like stand out, almost like, you know, like somebody had like drawn a highlighter on the map and just shown like this is where you need to go. And so he had led you to this stone facade, right? Like where the mountain, the foot of the mountain, like the base of the mountain comes down into this sheer cliff that rises up and then starts slanting back towards one of the peaks. And he's standing there and you're kind of like, what are you looking at? And then you remembered, he's like, didn't he say something about rings? And then you see for the first time these like subtly carved rings that just look like striations from the different levels or different kinds of rock as they were pressed together over the millennia. And sure enough, there is this like doorway shaped area in front of you on the side of the rock that's almost imperceptible to see. What do you guys do? You both see it right now. It basically looks like think of like an arched doorway, but you do not see a center line in it. It just looks like the arched doorway, and there's a solid facade of stone.
I would approach it cautiously. It seems like it's out of the ordinary here, right?
Well, so once you are kind of like almost like dumbfounded by like how the fact that you never saw this prior, right? Like you're just sort of like, oh shit, oh okay, like this is what he was talking about, and you kind of turn around and you're like, oh damn, I've been walking by this for the last half hour. Like, what the hell is going on? And so there's this structure, right? Like I don't know how best to describe it. There is a form in front of you that looks like an arched doorway with like 2 double doors. But if it was an arched doorway with 2 double doors, like the entrance to a castle, there would be a segment that allowed the rocks to open, or there'd be hinges or something. All you see is this like vague arched form and these 3 lightly carved lines that go across it. I mean, that's what you guys see with like just sort of like noticing things, stuff and things.
Okay.
What do you guys do?
So, TJ, just so you know, I'm gonna start walking forward, and I'm gonna get my hammer out to start hitting on the door. So if you wanted to stop me, just let me know.
I mean, that sounds like a plan.
Okay. Because that's usually like my go-to. I just hammer out, hit something. So just a heads up going forward.
Go fix that door.
All right, so I'm gonna just start pounding on the door. with my hand.
So as you approach and you kind of like, go gadget your hand, and it's like, and this hammer comes out, and you raise it up to strike against this doorway. This voice calls out, kind of like up, but to the left or the right, you're not sure. Like, even with your perception checks, Reamer, I'm going to say that you're still a little confused, which is a little unsettling. And this voice goes, I wouldn't be striking that door with your hammer, laddie. Why do you be coming here? And who be you? And what be your purpose?
What should I strike it with then? And that was a lot of questions.
You've answered none of mine. Don't strike it.
Yeah, but I did ask one of mine.
I say, don't strike it. Tell me who you are. Tell me why I shouldn't kill you where you stand.
I don't know if I'm easy
you're no
to kill.
dwarf. You're no dwarf. And you certainly shouldn't be coming into the storm horns if you haven't been invited.
I think we were invited. Right?
There's just a silence, like just waiting.
And I'm gonna turn back to Seraph and go, weren't we invited? When do I get to work on stuff? Don't you guys have forges?
We were told to ask for Farouk.
And the silence is no. You were not told to ask for Farouk. You were definitely not told to ask for Farouk.
Because I almost had that same joke earlier.
Well,
I'm like,
I'm not
no.
Wait. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you said that, and I was like, oh shit, that's not the name I wrote down. What? I'm like, no, it definitely is not the name that I used. So, yeah.
I'm gonna go. Wait, wasn't it Fargus?
And the silence,
100%.
Yeah, the silence that you had been greeted with returns and says, Fargus, you say? Why would Fargus be wanted to see the likes of you?
Shouldn't you ask him? Why would we know that?
Yeah.
Why would I be letting myself know things about you that you don't know yourself? Tell me now, or face the wrath of a Silver Hollow.
When do I get to start hitting things with the hammer? Because pretty soon it's going to be you, bud. Not really.
Seraph, you realize that, Seraph, what is your either charisma or intelligence?
Charisma's high. It's a 16, and intelligence is 12. And I recognize that this is Silver Hollow and not Iron Shields. Right?
No. So the home of the Iron Shields is Silver Hollow.
Silver Hollow is the place. Iron Shields is the people.
Silver Hollow is like the ancestral home of the Iron Shields.
Can I get your dwarf number so I can report this back to Fargus?
Wait. So I'm going to say that you're kind of just waxing and waning pedantically in front of this door that's not a door.
I'm ready to start hitting this thing.
Yeah, and there's this voice that's like, don't hit the door. What the F? And you're like, Fargus sent us. And he's like, why would Fargus send you? And you're just like, I'm going to,
It's door hitting
I don't
time.
know. So Seraph, I'm going to say, if you don't have something to add to this, I'm going to make you make an intelligence check.
Okay. 12.
Okay. You realize that you should probably mention that Jurgen sent you to speak to Fargus.
I thought the letter said just mention Fargus.
All Remus said was, I want to talk to Fargus. And then the response was, why would Fargus be wanting to talk to you?
No,
and then he was like, I just want to hit things and do stuff.
Yeah.
We did say we were invited by Fargus, but we don't know why he sent for us.
Well, technically, you weren't invited by Fargus. You haven't even met Fargus yet. You were invited by Jurgen to come speak to Fargus.
It's door hitting time.
It's...
Wait. So
just the note.
Wait. Reamer, you feel it's door hitting time. Seraph, you feel like you should probably mention Jurgen's name.
See, I'm fine with that. I was just confused because it sounded like Jurgen
Jurgen
wanted
needs to
out
get
of
better notes.
that he wanted out of all of this and say, when you get there, just say that Fargus asked for you or invited you, and you'll get let right in.
Oh, no, listen, that's absolutely what was happening. But what you're realizing is you're meeting some opposition to that. Now, why that's happening, who knows? But the person's voice has definitely said, why would Fargus want to talk to you? Which is definitely a clue that says you're in the right spot. You guys can massage this or do whatever, however you want. So it's up to you.
I'll say, no, I forgot his name. Jorgen. I'll say, damn it, Jorgen.
Jurgen.
And hopefully the guard hears that. Like enough for the guard to hear that.
Oh, so you're not like, Jurgen. You're like, damn it, Jurgen. Like you say.
More out of frustration.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you hear like Reamer, you hear like things starting to get loaded, and then all of a sudden this voice goes, "Hold! Did you just say the name of Jurgen?"
Why is he more respected here than Fargus? That's what it kind of seems like.
Tell me what Jurgen's last name is and why you might know that.
Need, because he told us.
Need, and he said to come here and ask for Fargus.
He says, need or something else?
Need, Kneed.
Okay, so just do either of you to give me a quick intelligence check.
It's Kneed.
Okay, yeah, Kneed. So one of you goes, Kneed. It's Jurgen Kneed. And all of a sudden you hear like, then you do be knowing him, and it is Fargus you be looking for. Stand down, boys, and you hear like...
Apparently not. Holy shit, look at how fucking connected Jurgen is.
And dude, if you're a fucking subcontractor, right? What do? All you do is do favors for other people by getting people to do other work for you. That's your job. Like, I mean, that's your thing. Like, that's how you make sure that you've got a finger in everything. Which sounds gross, but it's true. But I like your pie. I like your cake. I like that shepherd's pie over there. I like that. So anyways, so all of a sudden you hear, all right, boys, we'll open up for him. Let him in. And you hear that, like, and all of a sudden this like almost imperceptible line, like this sort of dust comes out right down the middle of that archway you guys have seen. And those three like light carvings just was like and opens up. And there's this like stout dwarf standing there, hands on his hips. And he's got like, you know, like the stereotypical like dwarven plate mail on his legs, nothing on his chest, like total bare chest, like beer gut hanging over the top, beard that comes down that's sort of like that touches the top of it, and it's all some combination of like silver and red, and he just says, I am Argus, and I am the gatekeeper. Now, if you be wanted to see where Fargus is, Argus will take you to see Fargus. Follow me. And he kind of turns and starts to walk away as quickly as a dwarf can walk away.
Okay. We're following?
Are you guys following?
Seraph?
Yeah.
All right.
Follow him.
So he kind of leads you like these really finely carved tunnels. Like, we're not talking rough hewn. Like, it looks like everything is just one giant slab of rock or has been jointed together with like near like perfection. The stone itself kind of shimmers and gives off like a little bit of this like silver glow, and you start to immediately recognize that may be one of the many reasons why And so there's like it's not bioluminescence, but it's something along those lines that like all the halls have this like sort of like preternatural silvery glow to it. And you guys are wandering through. You see people working, you see people bustling, running around like all of a sudden somebody's got like a crate of packages in the room there. And after you pass through like the first couple of chambers, you start to come into this huge, like almost like what you would call like a grand hall, right? Like some sort of huge space. And there's all sorts of like there's a proliferation of banners and streamers and heraldry and everything. And it's so big, like it sort of soars up some like 70, 80 feet in the air. And the chamber itself opens from being like 10 to 20 feet wide to like 150 feet wide. It's just this massive chamber. And you're like, it's just this moment where you're just like, holy shit, the dwarves totally know how to make shit look cool, man. Like, this is crazy. And this same like sort of like wah, 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 like silvery glow is everywhere that creates this interesting like cascade of light and dark shades on everything at the same time. And Argus goes, Vargas, I got visitors for you. I gotta get back to the gate. And Fargus looks up and nods and comes over to you. And Argus looks at the two of you and like, I'm glad I didn't have to kill you, and just walks off and goes back to the gate. Fargus approaches and puts his hand out, like to shake, like to either of you, whoever will take it.
I
Sure.
extend my hammer, but Seraph also extends his hand. So I mean,
I'll say he shakes Seraph's hand and then turns towards you. Do you still have the hammer up?
yes.
And he grabs the hammer, but he doesn't grab the hammer like a handshake. He grabs it by like, I assume like the bottom of the hammer has some sort of haft, and he kind of like overhands it and does like this like up and down shake and says, I see you like the forging too, boy. You may not be a dwarf, but I understand forging, and forging is where it's at, right?
Fortune is where it's at. I like this guy. He's my friend.
Seems to be speaking your language.
And
Me-
my shield turns into a big smile.
I just imagine that Seraph at this point is like, I don't want this job. I want to leave. You can live here forever. I gotta go. But so Fargus, after that sort of introduction, goes, I'm Fargus, as you well know. We've been having some problems here. What did Jurgen tell you, and what do you need to know? And then what are your questions before I take you up to see the big man himself?
Jurgen
Big
told us
man?
to ask for you, but it didn't work. And then I start working on stuff. Do you have a blacksmithing? Do you have any forges here?
Fargus looks at you and he goes, Boy, you be in a dwarven stronghold. We are nothing but delvers and forgers.
I'm just looking all around.
Wait. He goes, stay focused. And he turns towards Seraph and says, Listen, obviously you might be the brains of this operation that just here showed up. Before I bring you before the big man, I need to make sure that you and he, A, are capable, and B, are on board with what I might need. So if you got questions, make sure you ask me before you put them in front of the big man and make anybody look like they don't know what they're talking about.
No, we're very capable. But we have no idea what this job is.
He says, that's probably my fault. I wasn't that too clear. So let me do a little bit more explaining. You know that we've got this here glittering debate coming up, yeah? You're aware of that? At least Jurgen passed that information along.
Yes,
He did.
I am aware of that.
If a robot could have a boner, well, that's good about.
Oh, yeah, his tool already popped out. I assume that when he
Gross.
got up
Wait,
from the
wait.
bar.
No, just enough said.
No,
Just leave that alone.
I'm saying literally he has tools built into him.
And I'm saying gross.
That's
so,
fine.
anyways, he says, here's the story. We know that the glittering debate is ours for the taking, but we wanted to be, we wanted to show off. We wanted to show those folks from the Thunder Peaks and those folks that might have come up from the other parts of the Stormhorns that we here in Silver's Hollow and the Iron Shields know the best ways of crafting, because that's how we keep showing off that we are the best. Well, so we start digging. We know that sometimes when you go digging too deep, especially down below, as you start getting into what's known as the Underdark, that there's a lot you can get, but there's a lot more that might be getting you. Well, sure enough, we've got a little group down there, and they're doing their thing, and they're finding some interesting things. And then all of a sudden they start telling us they're hearing the sounds of digging coming back to them. Well, most of us up here that have been here for more than, 3 centuries or so say, oh, you're just hearing the echoes. There's nothing there to worry about. Just keep digging and see what you got. And then we don't hear from them for a while. And then we send a few Moors down to find out. And we hear some screaming from the lookout. We don't hear from them. So 7's down. We need to know what's going on. But we also need to know that everything here in Silver's Hollow is good for the glittering debate. We can't have any of this being known to those that be coming in, lest they think that we're unable to take care of our home, and they decide to come in and take care of our home as their own and take us over, if you understand what I'm saying. So, what I need, and why I reached out to Jurgen, and why I'm assuming you've come in here, Johnny Hammerhands and Mr. Nice Guy here. I don't know what I need a nickname, but I don't know, because you don't. I mean, you're bigger than a dwarf. I don't know. You, Nice Guy. I'm just going to call you a Nice Guy. We need some folks that can go down and check out what happened. Maybe come back with a report. Tell me the big man himself says talk to him, then you're going to come back and talk to him. But go down and figure out what's going on and let us know. If we're safe and everything's fine. If there's a problem and you can deal with it and you take care of it, fine. If there's a problem you can't deal with, we're not saying kill yourselves. We're not assholes. But what we are saying is, tell us what that problem is. Reconnoiter, figure it out, and then come back.
How many have gone missing?
We don't know. Right now, we're assuming the number is somewhere between 4 and 7. And I'll explain. The initial digging party was only 3. We sent 2 down afterwards, 2 brave souls, to find out if there were tracks, and they haven't come back neither. Unfortunately, if you've ever dealt with dwarves, we tend to be a little headstrong and very family-orientated. And so that first 3, they had brothers. And those brothers we haven't heard from neither. So the total could be 7, or they could just be drunk in some hollow and we don't know. But we want to. So the more information you can come back with us, the more we can tell families, the more direction we can tell people, and the more defenses we can set up. We've tried to do the best we can to make sure that if something's coming out, we're ready for it. We're not looking for you to go in and die for us and be more bodies. We're just looking for some lads to go down and either deal with the situation or come back and tell us what it is so that we can get the proper force to take care of it ourselves.
All right.
Are you willing to do this?
Willing and able.
So we're going down to fight.
I thought your name was Seraph, not Abel. All right, I'll be calling you Abel.
So we're going down to fight dwarves, and then I get to use the forge? And then I glance off again.
Like Fargus looks at you and says, "You'll not be fighting any dwarves."
I'm not.
He's not. He looks at
You've
Seraph and
lost
says,
me.
"He's not the brains of this operation, is he?"
I'll just shrug.
He goes, "Oh boy, all right. Well, listen.
I mean, if
here's
you
what
can't
I'll
figure that one
here's
out.
Here's what I want you boys to do. I want you to follow me. We're gonna go meet the big man. Do you know who the big man is here?
No.
I assume no one, aren't you dwarves?
I'm gonna say that you actually wouldn't say that. Like, I don't want to be like a dick DM, but I'm gonna say that, like, if we play the idea that you came to life as like a sentient dwarven forge, that you know that that's super not okay to say.
Uh-oh.
I mean, if you want to play it out differently, then fine. But I'm just saying that, like, I like the idea of sentient dwarven forge, but that you would have realized that, like, looking at a dwarf and saying you're a short piece of shit is a great way to get into a fight with dwarves.
Know what I said?
Wait, not what you said, or is what you said? I'm sorry.
That's not what I said. I said, aren't you guys dwarves? Just in comparison, it's like we like tower over them.
It's very true. It's very true.
So I mean, I'm just going literal on it.
Okay, all right. Well, you know what? I'm gonna do. Give me, because you're not trying to bluff. You're not trying to be diplomatic. Just give me a straight up like charisma roll and tell me what you get.
Okay. $13.
So I think under ordinary circumstances, Fargus would be utterly bullshit at you. Fargus rolled a 1. So he completely believes, no matter what it was, he completely believes that you are being absolutely true, which is what you're doing. But just for future knowledge, if you look at a dwarf and say, I don't think there is a big man here because none of you are above 4'1", it's a great way to just get killed by dwarves. So just for, I mean, maybe Sark like taps you on the shoulder. Let's cut the short jokes down to a minimum. But anyways, so Fargus. Jesus, my brain. Yeah, shut up. Well, I'm like, there's too many F's. So Fargus basically says, yeah, Fargus is like, I'm gonna bring you to go see Derek Ironshield. Derek Ironshield's the leader of this here Silver Hollow clan, and the ancestral home of all the Ironshields. I've been serving the king for some 150 years, if not at this point, and I want to make sure that he knows that you're okay before you start delving into the deep depths below us. So follow me. And so, just like when you were following Argus, I know Argus and Fargus rhyme, but it just happens to be what it is. He leads you through a series of chambers, and then you get to a. You notice that they start turning more and more and more like what's the word I'm looking for? Like ornate. Like they just like these passages that you're going through. Like they start, instead of that silvery show, or silvery glow, start showing off more and more of like this almost like ornate golden or coppery glow to it. And after several chambers, the silver has died away, and now it's this sort of like golden hue on everything that's illuminating everything. And he says, "Here you are, my king." And as you come around a corner, there's like this huge like wooden chair. It's not a throne. It's just like this really big stone chair. And sitting atop of it is this dwarf that's got like this big red beard, all sort of like interlaced, these like gold and silver links locked into it. And he looks and he says, "Hail, adventurers, my name." I'm sorry, that's not his noise. He's like, "Hail, adventurers, my name is Derek Ironshield, and I understand that you have come to help out the Ironshield clan. Is this true or not?"
Aye. It's true.
All right, that's one of yous. The other, you, robot. Why are you here?
I love what you've done with the place. Can I check out that throne? I love the intricacy of the metal.
I appreciate you appreciating things, but you haven't answered the question. And always answer a king when a king answers you or asks you a question. Why are you here?
the festival, I thought, right? Was that not? I'm checking with Seraph. Were we not here for the festival?
Pretty sure we were here for the festival. Also, I wouldn't call him a robot. That's the quickest way to go into combat with a Warforge.
He says, the quickest way to get killed in a kingdom is to not answer a king's question, and you still haven't answered. Seraph, is it? Seraph, you've answered. This one. This Warforged. Why are you here? Tell me true. I see you with Fargus. You wouldn't have gotten this far and been killed. You would have been killed already. Why are you standing in my chamber?
My shield goes to confused, and I go, is it not the festival? Was that wrong? To Seraph.
Well, I think he means us protecting the festival, not just the festival.
But isn't that the festival?
Well, we're gonna do some exploring before the festival. We'll get there, but that's not why we're before the king, I guess.
We're here because we're exploring the festival.
So the king, sitting on this like large stone chair, listens to all of this and starts to smile and says, "You there, Warforged. What is your name?"
Reamer.
Reamer, is it?
Yes.
Reamer, what do you desire most in life?
To make more to learn as much about blacksmithing as I can learn.
He chuckles and says, Maiden's children come in many forms. Some of them as perfect as myself. Some of them as convoluted as you. I will make you an arrangement right now. Should you take care of the issue that I'm sure Farouk has discussed with you, you will both be entitled to the reward that has been spoken. However, should you come back with information that anyone, and should you want to try, those of us that hail from will to enter something into glittering debate.
I think I got like 20% of that.
Oh shit! Basically, if you come back with if you come back with any information that's worthwhile, that's good, we'll give you to try to enter something.
Keeps cutting out because they'll give me something to try and enter something.
Hold on, let me see if I can move. So if you come back with something of interest, we'll let you enter the glittering debate. Like enter a product or a design or concept into the glittering debate.
Okay, so my shield lightens up and I go, the dwarves, and then there, because people were missing. Yeah, okay. I remember now. Hey, weren't you the one who told us about it? And I point to Fargus. I'm like, you were the guy. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yep.
TJ, did you have something?
I'm just admiring watching.
Business as usual.
I'm just admiring Reamer grow as a person interacting with people. It's amazing.
It's just like, yay!
I found him in a cave and he's just come so far and I'm so proud.
He can almost carry on conversations with my help.
It's awesome.
So yeah, I kind of remembered, and I acknowledge that, and just then I actually say the correct mission to the king.
And the king grateful is. I had a feeling. come around with it. And so Derek kind of nods to Fargus. Fargus, listen, boys. It looks like you've had a lot. If you need to prep in any way, please either take the time to rest or get ready, and I'll show you down to where you need to be, or where we need you to be, and I'll show you what we have set up.
I mean,
I'm ready to.
Yeah,
I'm ready to
say
go.
I'm good.
Okay.
This gets us closer to entering the competition. Yeah, I'm ready whenever we're good.
Okay. All right. So
Big man.
I am going to. Oh shit! I didn't. You guys over? Sorry. I hate when that happens. Oh no, I did.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you guys looking at like a blank screen right now?
Yes.
All right. Cool. I mean, not cool, but cool. All right. So Fargus, after like he basically says like, "Are you guys cool? Are we all set? Do we have everything we need?" Blah blah blah. All right. Let's head down into the category. I'll show you what the last stage in sight was, where we need to send you into to find out what, how, and any number of other things that we need to figure out. And so I don't know if you, but my amazing little child just woke up.
Yep.
Is screaming, and I'm hoping that this stops shortly, but we'll find out. So, sigh. So here's the thing: kids are really cool, but apparently, when they learn the lines for no reason, necessarily is. So,
Yeah.
all right. So let's do some reveal area. All right. So we're going to do this, and where this token is right here is where.
Can you do the shift clicky thing?
Shift clicky. So what do I do? I
Shift
shift and then.
Shift and then do like the ping, and then that'll drag us to it. As long as you're on the map or object layer.
Wait. So if I do this. Oh, you know what? Hold on.
So if you hold the mouse, you know how you do that ping? If
Yeah.
you hold
So-
shift and then do
Well,
that.
so wait. I'm pinging right now. Does
Yep.
this work for any?
I see it.
Do you see the area that I just opened?
Yes.
So it's the
Okay.
same thing, but hold shift.
Yeah.
Shift. All right.
And that drags us to it.
Sweet.
Okay.
That's awesome.
So I did not, because I didn't know what you guys were prior to when I had a moment. I did not create tokens for you guys. So I'm gonna look up as is it ASSI? No,
AA. Right?
AAS Azamir.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Azamir.
So close. One.
Ooh, that's. All right, TJ, we don't have to stick with this, but I just think this looks fucking cool. So I'm dragging this guy in and putting him here.
All right.
This person who's just like something
Placeholder.
another point. Like I don't think that's what your character looks. Unless, wait, do you like this one? Because these were like the top two. What do you think looks better?
The blue one.
Yeah, if you were standing right next to me right now. All right, and then what can I do for Warforge?
I think there's some at the all the way to the bottom. There's some Warforged pictures.
Ooh, Kevin, this is like the third one down, but I think this is fun. So hold on.
I like it.
I had a feeling I wasn't trying to be
Yeah.
we can, or if you guys find something and say, hey Tom, look here, we can use this, perfect. Yeah. But just for quick throwdowns, here we. All right, so Fargus is with you, but I'm not going to put Fargus on the. So basically, Fargus said, "Wow, you guys came down this tunnel, right? You descended like many sets of steps, many levels, down to what they call the dig sites or the explorations. And so you realize as you're coming down dwarven terminology, where do we go if we're trying to, like, you know, strike the next Sylvain or like find ore, minerals, or gems or whatever. And you guys also know that historically dwarves are greedy and never stop digging. So even if they've got enough good, can, like, you know, maintain their kingdoms for thousands of years, they're like, just keep digging, like, just keep digging. So this dotted line right here, Fargus explains, is the way to, like, the waste area. So, like, as they dig further and they have to dump, there's like a huge cavern just south of here that you can go and dump excess stuff in, like a natural cavern, so that, like, as they're, like, you know, swinging the picks and trying to find whatever, you got to move that stuff out, that you can move it out. And that's what this sort of I didn't open it up enough, I'm sorry. That's what this sort of, like, rough carved passage is. This right here is just a way for them to dump stuff out. He says, so follow me. And he goes, all right. So he leads you guys down a passageway into a room right here. And he says, we had to use some explosive. Note, this is fragmented, reaches out with little tendrils in each way. Please know that those tendrils don't go nowhere besides the cracks and crevices they made. But what I can tell you is the following. This room is the staging site, if you will, for any ongoing further exploration. We dwarves know about the Underdark. What do you two surface dwellers know about what's known as the Underdark?
I haven't been there myself, but I hear that it houses great evil.
He not like Farouk not it's a Farouk. Jesus, got me doing it now. Fargus not, and he says, that's true. And he looks at Reamer and says, Reamer, what do you know about the Underdark, if anything?
I know it has great evil.
So he nods and sounds like I'm dealing with a stereo system here. Let me tell you this. Is there great evil? Is there great troubles to wait you in the Underdark? Yes. Yes. Yes.
I got
but
it.
Yes. Are there great riches? Are there great things that you can reward yourselves with? Are there great ways to make your name known for yourself in the Underdark? Aye, those are there too. But the dangers, the foes, and the things that creep and crawl, walk on legs sometimes too, they will try to stop you from claiming that destiny. Us dwarves, we try to claim it as much as we can. Us dwarves, we know it's ours. We also know that everything that is ours needs to be claimed with might or with right, and that's why we dig. Now, let me show you the rest that I know. And so you guys are, I'm not going to move, basically you guys are in this area right here. And he says, once you're there, he says, if you follow this path, this one up here that goes to the north, there's a watchout tower. I'm going to just mark on the map. There's a watchout tower up there. That's very hard to get to, should some foe or person come up to. Once you enter and start to head down into what might wait for you, we're going to close the door behind you. We're also going to put a 3-man staff up here to make sure that should you come back looking for help, we got nobody waiting at the door because of the glittering debate, that there will be folks there waiting to help you. Understood?
Understood.
And so I'm just going to show you. You're not going to walk. You guys don't actually walk up here, but basically he explains that, like, up there in, like, this space, there's going to be like 2 to 3 dwarves, like, just on sort of sentry duty.
One sec. I'll be right back.
What a jerk.
Rude.
What a for
Seriously, that sort of stuff keeps happening. Like when I was I forget what game we were playing, but I just always wanted to call TJ's character Archon. Jumbo.
Well, the more games you play, especially the more games you play with the same like people who play characters, it absolutely happens. Like,
right.
And the longer you play with people, like I mean, like Lucas has been playing the Shathid character, but there's still moments where like, so Balmir did, and you're
Right.
like, Jesus, that's not what I meant to say at all. You
Also,
know?
Shathid, his name doesn't come up as often.
It's true.
I feel like it's like definitely he's doing stuff, but it's not like, oh, Shathid. It's just like yeah. It's like things are happening.
Well, I think that might be kind of like the play style that we're using in that game too. You know,
Oh,
like when we did Barovia, like Lucas's Balmir character was a character that was part of a bunch of shit. So it wasn't just like, Lucas, what do you do? It was like, what does Balmir do? Balmir does this, etc.
Yeah, and I think where we are too, it's like, you know, just everything that we're trying to do. Most of the conversations are just like, well, what are we doing now?
Yeah,
like, well,
no, very true.
All right, so as opposed to like, you know, oh, Shathid did this, you know, and it's like, oh yeah, just whatever. What are we doing, guys?
Yeah,
it's not about what we
absolutely.
did. It's what are we? What's happening? So
I want to be part of it.
Right.
So. The other thing that I have to ask is, so you and TJ have been coming up with like cool maps every time we play a game.
Yeah.
Is there like a site location that you're going to? Because I'm getting really sick of doing Google searches and looking at maps and being like, this is crap. Like, this is just like what we're using right now is kind of what I had to imagine. So that's why I'm using it. But it's not perfect. Like, it's definitely not what I want. So it's through Reddit? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just people post the stuff and just you go on. I mean, I go on, I see things that are like, oh, this is a fucking cool map. So I put it on and it's like, you know, maybe I'll make an encounter out of that. Maybe I'll keep it to the side and come up with an encounter and try and find a map that fits it. So
yeah, I wanted something beyond. Yeah, I wanted something beyond Google search, because when you're like, hey, Google search Underdark maps, it shows you like 4 maps out of like 600 that are actual Underdark maps, and you're like, nope, no thanks. Why are we doing this? I don't understand. So, anyways,
exactly.
All right. So, Vargas explained Watchtower kind of scenario up here. Says you need to progress down this tunnel. Do you guys progress down that tunnel?
Yes, I don't have my character select.
Oh shit, I haven't done this. Sorry.
No worries.
Who is it? I need to controlled by Kevin. Why are you? Oh, there it is. All right, Reamer. Say save changes, and then we're gonna go controlled by. Sorry, save changes. All right, so you guys have control of your characters, or you should have control.
Yep.
All right, and again, if we want to change those out, like those were just like the top picks, like nothing. There's nothing permanent about it. All right, so basically, Vargas leads you down this path and leads you to these large, like stone doors that do not fit like they don't fit what you're looking at, and you both, without having to make any checks, really door set up as a barricade / like stopgap mechanism to be like, yep, nothing else is going to come. Vargas looks at you and says, if you go beyond these doors, right, Can you just move out of the way, Arnold? Thanks. Thanks for walking in the room and screaming again. That's great. If you go beyond these doors, I will close them behind you to make sure that the safety of myself, Silver Hollow, and the King are secure. I do not take this lightly, and I want you to know that if you can make it back and signal those that are up in the watchtower, oh shit, I gotta do this, that are up in the watchtower, I'm just clicking on it.
Yep.
That they will make sure that if we need to come back with a bigger force, we can. But just know that all we can muster right now are the 2 or 3 that are up there. I hope that you two will be enough. However, the King has decided that you need some support. And I hope that these 2 will be helpful to you. And as he says that, the 2 of you hear this like sort of like stomping and tromping coming down behind, and these 2 dwarves that look very similar in face. They're both males, but very similar in face, very similar in beard, but very differently dressed. Come walking in, and Fargus says, "May I introduce you to Braylon and Bralin? Both of them have been sent down by Dark himself to help us in making sure that this area get cleared out properly. Again, I hope the 2 of you are the best, and I hope that these 2, the Stone Swale twins, will help you guys in what you need." And the 2 of them kind of like look at Fargus and give him like the sort of like, fist to chest like salute, and then look to you and says, "We'll be following your lead." And Fargus kind of like puts his hand on his head, and he just goes, "They may not be the most developed dwarves, but they're not that bad to have in a fight." And the two of them kind of like puff out their chests like, and you kind of get the feeling that you may have 2 teenage dwarves along with you this round.
If only they were mutants.
Now, admittedly, a teenage dwarf is like, I don't know, 90 years old, 80 years old, something like that. So just know that, it's not like they're super spring chickens. They may not be the best. You notice that one of them is dressed in robes, and you notice that one of them is dressed in really almost theatrical clothes. Like not like I'm a jester, look at me, la la la, but like it's very flamboyant.
Seems bardish.
I could make you make an intelligence check. Say maybe you just awarded yourself a maybe you know what? I really like you know what? We didn't talk about this before. I really like the idea of, rather than like an inspiration die, I like the idea of having like a chip or a coin that allows you to have like a bonus. And so I'm going to say this right now. In this game, you both started with let's call it a luck coin, okay? So you both started with a luck coin. Luck coin allows you to have a +4 on a check before you know the outcome. Or after the outcome, you can say, I can get a +2 on it.
All right, cool.
And the other thing it can do is you could apply disadvantage to me. So like let's say like you cast a spell and you're like, okay, you need to make a wisdom save against this or dexterity save against this. if you have a coin, you can apply it to me and say that character, that monster you're rolling, has disadvantage on this. Now, once you use a coin, it's gone. You guys both start with one coin, and that last move, I don't want to admit this, but that last move gives TJ an additional coin. You cannot have more than 3 coins. So if you have more than 3, it doesn't matter. So if I'm like, you know what, that's a really cool move, get a coin, and you look at your records and you go, I already have 3 coins, you can't do it. I don't know if that's ever going to, but I think that's a cool idea because it's a cool way to give, heroes a chance to. So I'm down with this. If we find out that the luck coin idea is stupid, maybe we'll get rid of it. For now, we're gonna roll. So, you guys are there. You now have Bralin and Braylon, and I'm sorry, yeah, Braylon and Bralin. Yep, and one of them appears to be, you would assume because of the robes, some kind of caster, and the other one appears to be, Seraph may have guessed it, some kind of bard. And I'm
Cool.
gonna do this and go. There you go. You got Braylon and Bralin right there with you. And so Fargus goes up to the door, and Fargus puts his hand on it and speaks some quick words. Does anyone speak Dwarvish?
Nope.
Yep.
All right. For those that speak Dwarvish, what you basically hear is he said, "May those who venture forward find favor beyond." And as he
You're the one
the
who
door,
wrote
the
spell
doors
so
are
well.
I know I misspoke that last one, but the doors are and rather than swinging open forward or backwards, they just slide apart. And as they slide apart, the room in front of you starts to be exposed, and you see what looks like a large room that expands into the sort of darkness. And there are several areas for bedding and camping that are right here, right in front of you. Those clearly were spots for folks that were delving into the Underdark, but they could come back and have some safety, especially with the knowledge that there's a sentry point up here, or that they could beat on the door and someone could let them in. But as you guys have found out, that's not necessarily normally or always manned. It is just like on a skeleton, and they're doing what they can. So,
Is it
what
dark?
do you guys want to do next? Do you push forward?
Is it dark
Do you
down here?
sleep? It is dark down here. Yes.
Okay, so I will cast light upon myself.
And this is a good question. So, do you, Seraph, what's your vision look like?
I have dark vision.
All right, so you can see in the dark. And, Reamer, you need to produce some form of, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how do you guys want to produce? So Reamer, walking in, realizing does project lights, and how do the rest of you deal with this?
I'm not too stealthy, and I think I would cast light as well on the tip of my sword.
Okay. The
Always showing off.
the dwarves. I'm not gonna we don't have to map the map, Jesse, but like the dwarves immediately are like, we will stay with you, but if you ever need someone to go ahead in the darkness, we can do that too. And so basically, you guys move, and as you guys kind of push into this room, this antechamber, you see that there is there's like some sort of like stone outcropping that's blocking further view on, but to the left you see this like rickety stairwell carved in the stone that leads up to the vantage point that you were just told there are people defending you, right? And there's like some slits right here that they can fire down. So you realize that, like, this Jesus Christ, come on. This is the area that like is probably the safest. But once you go past here, everything goes into Crazy Town. So
Okay.
You're gonna want to shift it up and over to the left one, I believe.
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slap the mouse off like the small table I'm working. That's what I'm gonna do.
No,
So
I don't think that will fix the map layer at all.
no, I don't either. So all right, so we're gonna go over one. Oh, too much. Over one, and don't do that, Tom.
Because you can focus on the door lining up with that, and then over to the left.
Are we okay again?
One to the left.
One to the left.
Good. Perfect.
Good. Okay.
All right. So I've got light. Unfortunately, it's not giving me the ability to actually show the aura. But I've got light cast, and I'm looking it up to see how far around it is of me. But I think it's 30 feet.
I don't know. You might want to look, because I think light might be less than a torch. I think it might actually be 20 feet.
But, yep, 20 and 20.
Yeah, so it's like
20
a total of 20 feet shy of what a torch actually does.
Yeah.
All right, so where do you go? And Seraph, where do you go as well?
Light. Yeah, I'll go. I will follow.
Like, I'm kind of just going up this way, and I'm just, if we're just heading up, I'm going.
And you got, like, as you get there, right, you definitely see this like shoddily built or like almost like, I don't, like, it wasn't to be perfectly indistinguishable, but like difficult for large things to climb up this stairwell to get to the safety that's up top. So you kind of you know the watchtower is off to your there, but once you go past this piece that's right here that's shooting out right to your left, you realize you're really getting into the.
I have a question real quick, just because I forgot to ask. What happened with the door? Did it close, or was it closed?
The door you guys came through, like
Yes.
down at the bottom. Once you guys came through, the door like closed behind.
Okay. Onward, I think.
All right. So what are you doing? Yeah.
Take a peek behind.
I'm sorry.
corner
I need
one.
to do this. We're gonna go. Boom. Why is that?
Also, I am pretty excited about something
What's that?
to show you guys in Roll20. I don't know if it's going to be the next session, but there's going to be something coming up. It might be like, oh boy,
All
that's
right.
cool.
So you guys get there, and you have like what is the distance of your lights, Senior Reamer?
20 foot radius of bright light and then 20-foot radius of dim light. I don't know if I can see in dim light.
All right, we'll say that you can see clearly, and that further the path continues on.
Well, then so shall I. Not kind of there.
All right, move up there. 10. Boom. Are people following you?
I'm assuming
what are you guys doing?
they're following. I mean, because I'm not, slowing down, but at the same time, I'm not charging forward without them. So it's kind of I'm aware of whether or not they're with us.
Okay. I gotta do this. So basically, they're like Bralin and Balin are right behind you. They're following you.
Exactly. That's what I figured. We'll catch up with that stuff anyway. Kind of go to that corner looking to see both ways.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, what I will do is I will really. This is like a dead end.
Okay. Then the
Yep.
one ways.
Yeah, and then this continues this way.
Okay.
All right. Everybody else, where are you moving to? AKA Seraph, where are you moving to? You green-skinned son of a bee.
Right behind. Oh shit. Why did that go that way?
He's gone.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
Sarah,
All right, so they're all. And let's do some more reveal. So, okay. So in front of you, see the. Oh man, do I say this right? Stalagmite, if it's coming out of the ground. Stalactite comes from the ceiling.
Tight is from the ceiling because it holds on.
Because it's on the top,
so it doesn't fall.
So there's like a large stalagmite, but there are also stalactites coming down from the top. It looks like a bunch of teeth, but on this map, this is like the largest. This is the largest thing, and then it looks like it clears up, or like right after that, leads into like a split passage. So what do you guys do?
Circling around up on the top path.
Okay, yeah. So you go up there, you go around.
Yeah.
Nothing seems to happen.
Okay.
You get right there. I'm gonna say TJ, move your character. The rest of these characters.
Gonna go the opposite way around here.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah. No. Fair enough. All right. What do you guys do now?
I'm just wondering if like.
Oh, you know what? Before we move, I would like, because you two are in the. I want you and TJ to give me perception checks.
I was actually just about to ask about a perception check or maybe a passive perception, see if I noticed anything. So, yeah, I guess a perception check then. Oh my god, again? Are you shitting me? So
Natural one.
Yeah, don't worry, I got it. Like, by a lot. As long as it's within 20 to 40 feet. That's a 30.
Okay. So you know. So first of all,
The hell?
TJ, you don't notice anything. It just looks like a dark corner.
Are you like? Do you have expertise in it?
No, guidance. Guidance and a natural 20.
Oh, okay.
So that gave
How
me...
How many times can you use that a day?
Guidance?
Mm-hmm.
It's a cantrip that I can just use.
Oh, okay,
I'm always
cool.
touching myself.
Don't say that out loud, but okay, fair enough. So I'm gonna say, do me a favor and roll a percentile die. So 2d10, and tell me what the total is that you get.
Let's go with these now. Well, I've got the color-coded ones that go together that are the hundreds, and that's a 21.
All right, I'm gonna give it to you then. You notice that where you're standing right here, Looks all clear. Doesn't look like anything happened. But right here, and leading into the darkness that you can't see beyond that, there is what looks like something heavy was dragged. Like, you don't see footprints. You just see, like, if you can think about putting like a rock on the sand on a beach and then somehow pulling it forward without leaving footprints on it, that's what you see. Sorry. Oh, shit.
There you go.
Here. And then by the time it reaches right here, it's gone. It's not there anymore.
So it looks like it was dragged from the right to the left?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden it's not there.
Huh.
The walls are moving?
What?
Well, I'm not seeing any of this, but am I hearing that correct, that the walls are moving?
No.
No.
I mean, the walls
no.
did move
I mean,
by
yes,
accident.
yes, they are.
But they were fixed shortly after. No, there looks like something was dragged from this part to here, and because I'm gonna point that out to you, just hey, did you check that out? You notice? It looks like something was dragged. What do you think could have happened? Because it's gone here. I look up.
You look up, and it looks like a cavern or cave. There's nothing that's like descending to murder you. So no, you're fine.
Okay. Just getting flashbacks from Ocarina of Time. So yeah. Any
All right,
thoughts?
cool.
The dragging just ends.
Seems to.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes. Like all of a
So-
sudden, like it looks like if you're looking here, and like here, it looks like somebody threw something super heavy, started dragging it, and then from there, the dragging kind of dissipates. It's not there anymore.
There's a dragon.
There's a dragon.
Hold on.
What are you saying?
We have an important question to answer. Do you have the map on the map layer?
I don't know how to answer that.
So, if you go to, I think it's the one just under the tool that is like the mouse key. There's like layers. So there's 3 layers. There's the map. There's the object layer and the GM layer. If you have the map on the object layer, it's gonna be anytime you miss something or try and click or whatever, you'll drag that around. If you right click on just the map, you can, at the bottom of the menu that pops up, you can send it to a different layer, and you just want to send it to the map layer. That way, if you're trying to move anything around and you miss it, you're not grabbing the map because it's not on that layer.
Oh, come on. Everybody still there or no?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm like, all of a sudden, like, I was talking and no one was answering. I'm like, I'm not muted. What is going on?
No, because all like I thought because I told you that stuff, and then it was just like there was just silence.
Yeah, you
So
told
it's
me that
just
stuff,
like
and I'm like, all right, cool.
it's
What
like
else
all
are
right, so
people
he's
saying?
working on that.
Yeah, no, and then I threw some stuff out and responded. Okay, I guess I should see what. Oh, okay, and I went back, and I'm like, what is going on right now? And then I'm like, oh shit! I'm like, hey, anybody out there? And you guys are like, yeah, we're here. I'm like, yeah. So there was a whole bunch of shit that nobody got from anybody. So sorry about that. But anyways,
All right.
so yeah, so you guys are in this tunnel, and you saw this sort of like I'll call it like a push stoned path. Like if you can imagine somebody pushing a stone through something, and the sand beneath it being like moving out of the way. That's what you see. You also see in front of you the split in paths to the north, the south. What do you guys do?
I want to check out the trail and see if there's something that might be like noticeable about why the dragging just kind of ends. And I think being cautious of falling through something again that doesn't support my weight. If it might be some sand that I don't want to fall through.
All right, fair enough. Okay.
So I'm just gonna walk over kind of cautiously and just checking out and seeing if there's anything else that I can notice at all.
So you come over and you're like, what'd you roll?
What should I roll?
I would say investigation or perception. Whatever is higher.
Oh, okay, good, because that's a world of difference.
All right, so
25.
25. All right, fair enough. So you see these like tracks coming out from like over here that like are like blah, 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 and go up to the statue that you were just encountering, and you're kind of like, okay, bro, you're a statue, and it was just like it doesn't do anything. What you do see though is that this way seems to have these like score marks of something going on, and that this way doesn't.
Seems like we're going marks, right?
Towards the struggle, yeah.
Yep. All right, off we go.
You said up?
No, off.
Oh, I thought you said up. I was like, that's not that way.
I can't see.
So you guys come up here, right? Like you guys are here, and the two dwarfs come up behind you. You see some tracks. You see some this. That's weird. Whatever. What do you guys do? Like, how do you progress down this like split? Do you both follow south? Do you follow?
Yeah, definitely. We're like south as south as we can be right now with what we can see.
All right. As you guys make that commitment, right? And I want to feel some stuff, kind of like you see in front of you, and this is like this up here. As you make that commitment and you start making that, and people are moving it. People are doing what they're going to do, and you're here and doing. I want everybody to get a check.
What kind of check?
Perception check.
Okay. $27.
13. 13.
13. All right. With a 27, you're an old man that's been listening to your ham radio, and all of a sudden you hear, "Oh my god!" And you hear that there's some sort of giant monster that's come up on land, coming towards where you guys stand. Do with that as you will. And then you, Madam, I got nothing. What are you doing right now? Okay, or nothing. That's fine. All right. So everybody else that's in this hallway starts to peer down. And what happens? I want you guys to give me perception check.
Another one?
Mm-hmm. Give me another perception check.
14.
Oh, that one's not as good. 17.
Okay. So, all of a sudden, there's this like resurgence about trying to build a what do you want to call it? Bocce park in Southport. And so I want to make all of this happen to you guys right now. But unfortunately, we've got two problems. One, how do you guys feel about like me saying roll for initiative? And the second part is, how late are you guys willing?
If it's initiative, it's initiative. And
Probably like no more than like a half hour.
All right, well, let's see what happens.
Yes.
So I want
works.
everybody to roll for initiative. Anyone on the last check rolled above a 15 can add a +2 to this.
sweet, my initiative positive.
I think wouldn't my sword come into play and start to glow?
Your sword, as you move down this pathway, as you got right here, started moving down this pathway, it immediately started.
Okay, because that
So
gives me.
you know what? Does that give
gives
you
me
advantage on
advantage.
this? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
All
on
right.
rolls. Yeah.
Excuse me.
So that would be a 20.
Oh, I don't need that. I have
Total.
my dice, but yeah, we'll go with 8.
All right. So.
And that allows it so like we can't be surprised, right? Or is it just you?
What do you mean? Sorry.
The sword would. I think it glows. But I'm pretty sure this magic weapon warns of danger. While this weapon is on your person, you have
Well, so
advantage.
like
In addition,
5 or
you
10,
and any
5
of
or
your
10 feet away,
companions.
start. Further you move, it starts to go.
So I think the advantage only goes to me, but
Yeah.
no one can be surprised if they're within 30 feet of me.
Yeah.
All right. So, what did you have, Sarah?
Yeah. 20 total.
20 total. All right. And then what about you?
8.
Okay. Okay. All right. And so we got to take a quick pause. And I will be right back.
Yeah. I'm so glad that I went with the eyes. Because it gives me advantage on perception.
Was a 30 a natural 20 for you?
Oh, yeah. Dude, I was rolling with advantage. I think the first, 3 or 4 perception rolls, I got a 20 in there. It was like, holy shit.
God damn.
I mean, only on this last one did I roll an 8 and a 6. And it's just like, I mean, it was like 17 and 20, 18 and 20. It's like, Jesus. And then it's like, and I'm, always going guidance. Because you could always pop a D4 in there.
Right.
Is it so? Like guidance is always present, or is there any time that it is not? Like, is there any time
It's
No?
for a minute, so it's like I just always like tap myself and just throw it back on.
Okay, cool. All right, so you guys come
As
in,
long as I'm like-
right? And like Reamer kind of like rushes forward, right? And Sarah, if you're like holding back a little, and the two dwarfs are kind of like, maybe we'll go to like the North Passage, go through this. As all of this is happening, it was like, keep moving forward, blah blah blah. You, Sarah, like all of a sudden, her sword to like glow and is like, like all of a sudden forms that hand that comes back and like slaps you and is like, shit's about to go down. And I want everyone to roll initiative for me.
Yep. 8.
Yeah, 20.
24. Oh shit, we did this. I'm sorry. You step away for a second. I'm like, oh my god, did I? All right, so Seraph had a 20. I got Braylon and Browlin are tied at like 15s, and then I had an 8 for Reamer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay. So as you guys start to come down this pathway, like the two different pathways that you guys are like going down, you, Sarah, are the first to notice this because all of a sudden, like your blade or your like power or whatever it is sort of like, and you're like, oh shit, what's going on? And all of a sudden, from behind you, you hear this like, and these tentacles fly down, and everybody, I'm gonna need some AC checks because I'm about to roll some attacks, yo.
Keep.
Okay, I need this. All right, we're gonna start at the top. Braylon, does a 13 hit you? It does not. Browlin, that's a fucking natural 20. That definitely hits Browlin. Okay, so 20, motherfucker, that gets hit. Okay. All right. Does a 17 hit? What's your face? The Warforged. Does a 17 hit Reamer?
It does not.
Okay. And does a 24 hit Seraph?
That do.
Okay. All right. 24. All right. So what I need, here's what's going to happen.
Wrong book.
Okay. So Seraph and Braylon, you guys are both considered grappled right now. And you guys this is it's crazy. Bite. Okay, tendrils. All right, so you guys, so neither of you get hit with damage when the tendril hits, but it's like flypaper and it's like hits you and then starts pulling you towards the central part that is this creature. I'm gonna make you. Oh man. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make the non-dwarf make a roll to see if they are succumbed. So, yeah. Who's left on the map right now? Braylon and Browlin. And it was Browlin that didn't. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Yeah, that's high enough. All right. So right now, it is the only tendrils that are attached are going down south and going to the folks that are down there. So, what are you guys doing?
Whose turn is it, and what are we fighting?
You're fighting for your lives on a Friday night. It's sometimes you just have to dance. Now,
Friday.
long story short,
No.
there is some sort of entity behind everybody that just fired out these like rubbery, tentacular feeler / like sucker / like ropes that are like, and it hit two of you. One of you was like, "No, get off!" Pulled it off. The other of you hit and was like, "I don't know what I should be doing right now." So, what are you doing? Also, what are you doing?
Also, isn't it initiative?
Is it initiative past that? But so I'm going to say this. So we are looking at 11:41 right now. I'm going to tell you right now. Hold on. I got to go back to this. Sorry. This thing right here, this large stalactite had come to life and fired out some shit. There was one NPC that had been affected, and there was one PC that had been affected. You guys are now standing at the top of the second round, and you have full effect to deal with this however you want. But as it is almost midnight, and I have to wake up and deal with shit at like 4:30 tomorrow, I want the two people who are playing to give me intelligence rolls. So send me intelligence.
Intelligence roll.
Mm-hmm.
8.
Yeah, also 8.
Yeah. So you guys don't know what it is you're fighting. What you do know is it's got some serious, like, multiple parts. So there it is.
But it came from over here.
Where?
The
Yeah, it literally, this came to life after you walked by it. And it wasn't until you walked by it and got into this cave that you, Senior Awesome, started to realize that, like, I just walked by some shit and I gotta go deal with that. So I think actually this is not a bad place to stop. And you guys are doing great. I mean, but also I'm gonna kill you. So good job, everybody. And we'll talk soon, right?
Absolutely.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks, Tom.
All right. Hey, no problem, man. Also, so quick question.
Yeah.
Is this what you guys thought you would be getting involved with right off the bat, or what did you think?
I mean, this could have been anything.
So, I mean, no, quite literally.
A dwarf, thing, and a cave, and now what I, as Kevin, assume is a roper, but Reamer has no idea what anything
a roper.
Is.
A roper.
Something.
Oh my god, you're spot on. But yeah.
That's basically what is to I saw the Sonic movie because my brother's son, my nephew, was having a birthday, so I brought my son. We watched the movie, and at the end, Jim Carrey's like, I was not expecting that, but I was expecting not to expect something, so that doesn't count. So it's kind of like that.
All right, cool. Well, so we will pick up in the sort of midst of this battle next week, and we'll see where it goes. So good stuff. good, actually good role playing all around. And don't worry, if I don't murder you, I'll murder you shortly thereafter. So, all
Perfect.
right, awesome.
All right,
All right.
later. Thanks, Tom.
All right, later, everybody.
Later.
Bye.
Fuck. All perception. Okay. 27. Okay. What do you do?